Namaskar, everyone. I am Ravi Gupta here. I am editor-in-chief of Digital Learning Magazine and CEO of Elets Technomedia Private Limited. And we are here with an exciting session and with an eminent speaker. We have with us Dr. Mrs. Pankaj Mittal, who is Secretary General, Association of Indian Universities, AIU. Namaskar, madam. Thanks for joining us. And we are here joined by Mr. Dallas Krishnan, who is the Managing Director Enterprise for Coursera in India and ANZ. Welcome, Dallas. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure
So,
to be with you.
yeah. So we have our eminent speaker, Dr. Pankaj Mittalji here. So I will request her to deliver her keynote address, and especially focusing on the NAP role of edtechs in this new age era where edtech adoption is increasing, and the concept of a digital universities, which is being discussed in the budget. It has been proposed. So, requesting her to deliver a keynote address, and after that, I will request Mr. Dallas to give some interactive discussion in the session. So, over to you, Mittalji, and Namaskar. Welcome.
Thank you, Raviji. Namaskar. And so happy to be on your platform once again. It is always a joy to be on the platform of Elets, and you're doing really wonderful work in the field of higher education. So compliments to you. So now coming to the national education policy, as you all know that the national education policy is something which we call as a very, very forward-looking policy, very democratic policy, very innovative policy, because it is taking care of the aspirations of the students. It's a student-centric policy which is taking care of the aspirations of the students. And during this 2020, I mean, both the things came together, national education policy as well as the COVID pandemic. And when the COVID pandemic struck, most of the universities and colleges were closed. And we were thinking that we don't know how the education will go on. But in no time, our universities started teaching online. So that online education, although our teachers were not very much trained on online education, but they still wanted to experiment, and the experiment was successful. And most of our teachers, they did start teaching online, and they used many platforms which are available. And at that time, only many of the platforms cropped up to help the teachers in teaching. It was whether it was Zoom or Microsoft or Google. I mean, there were hundreds of platforms which were there, and rather there was an evaluation between different platforms that which is the best platform for teaching the students. So when this online education started, the basic issue was, one, how to teach online, because teachers were using online teaching, but they were not using the effective online teaching. So how to teach online effectively, capacity building of the teachers were required. And second, if the technology is to be used for teaching learning in the higher education institutions in a big way, then what platform should be used, and what pedagogy, I mean, what teaching pedagogy should be used for teaching the students. And you know that the national education policy talks about flipped classroom model. They say that instead of using the standard lecture method of teaching, one should be using the flipped classroom method, in which the videos or the audios or the lecture notes are given in advance to the students, and in the class only the discussion happens, so that the understanding develops, rationalization happens, reasoning happens, problem solving happens, and then the understanding is more than the rote learning. Now, when we want to adopt this flipped classroom model, there is what the main requirement is having the e-content. So how to have the e-content which will be used for the flipped classroom model. Again, many of our teachers are not trained in producing sort of quality e-content. So when I was in UGC, we started a scheme called Swayam. Swayam is a India MOOCs platform where the curriculum-based online e-content is available. Online e-courses are available. Before that, we were having a sort of an open education resource in the form of EPG Pathshala, again in which the curriculum based content was there, but that was a open education resource in four quadrants. Four quadrants means videos, texts, further referencing, and the self testing. But then in that, the a structured course was not available, and the students were using this OER like any other material which is available on the net. But when this Swayam started, we started having a structured course where from the beginning, I mean, there was a course with a definite duration, there was a beginning of the course, end of the course, there was a hand holding by the teacher, there was an evaluation by the teachers, and the grading was given for the course, and also the credits were given for the course. So that type of Swayam courses were there. Online MOOCs courses, which we call them massive open online courses, they were on the Swayam platform. But again, there also, when we were asking our teachers that you should be preparing quality online courses which can be uploaded on Swayam, so that the students at the large are benefited by good teachers, because good teachers are very very limited in number. So if a good teacher wants to reach to multiple students, maybe students across the universities, there is a need that they should be preparing good content. But our dilemma was that whenever we contacted a good teacher, they were very good in teaching a classroom, but teaching a camera was real difficult for them. They used to see that how can we teach a camera effectively? I mean, even the best teachers used to fumble in front of a camera because they were never trained to teach a camera. They said that we are not able to see the reactions of the students, so how do I teach a camera? So it is there then we decided that even the best teachers, we cannot presume that they will be developing a very very quality e-content or a online course unless they are trained. So there we engaged with many many companies who were helping us out in preparing the e-content in terms of lending the support of the studios, in terms of say editing of the content, in terms of providing animations, in terms of giving technical input. So many edtech companies were used by us during that time just to support the teachers in providing the e-content. So that is what was happening, and slowly slowly the teachers started building up, and they produced quality online courses, MOOCs courses on the Swayam platform. But then when this COVID stuck, these online courses came as a boon to the students, because at that time there were no courses which were available online otherwise for the students. But these online courses which were on the Swayam platform came as a boon to the students. And looking at that, the UGC decided that till that time, I mean, till the COVID stuck, in the regular programs, only 20% of the programs could be done from the Swayam platform. From the Swayam platform, online MOOCs courses could be done to the extent of 20%. But after the COVID stuck, this percentage was increased to 40%. That means now, today, in the regular degree programs, 40% of the courses can be done from the Swayam platform, the MOOCs courses from the Swayam platform. Then came an innovative concept in national education policy, that was ABC. So ABC is a revolutionary concept in the sense that in the ABC, that is Academic Bank of Credit, the students can be doing multiple courses from multiple universities, accumulate the credits in a bank, and then redeem those credits for a degree at a later stage. So when this comes, then these type of courses are much in demand, because again the online, if you want to have courses from multiple universities, then every university, if they have a very limited number of seats, say 40-50 seats, that will not work, because the people who are the seekers of these courses, they are too many. So therefore they need a place where they can have more enrollment capacity. So therefore online courses will be much preferred in ABC platform. So in ABC, what we have mentioned is that right now in the regulations, that if you have done 50% courses from a particular university, and if all the core courses are complete, and the number of relevant, what is the required number of credits for that particular program is complete, then you can get degree from that university. So here the limitation of 50% was there. But now comes a new concept in the budget of digital university. So when this digital university is there, and if the students are using the ABC route and accumulating the credits in the Academic Bank of Credit, I mean, every student will be having an account in the ABC, and they'll be accumulating the credits. So if this digital university comes, the online programs, one, it will get a big boost. And second, as far as I feel, I'm not very sure because the guidelines are in making. I feel that this 50% limit for a particular university for giving a degree will be not required if the student is wanting to get a degree from the digital university. So if a student goes to the digital university with the credits accumulated from many universities, including digital university, then he or she can get a degree from this university much more easily, much more effectively. And the ABC doesn't need to have, say, membership from many universities who will be giving the degrees. I mean, because you know that in government universities, if the rules are to be changed, it takes a lot of time. ACEC, so many. I mean, there are many administrative hurdles which takes time to approve a course. So if this digital university comes, I think the ABC scheme will flourish like anything, because it will be very easy to give a degree to a student who is coming from the ABC route. Now, coming to this edtech companies, I told you that in Swayam, we used many edtech companies basically for giving the technical support. The content was of the university, the teachers were of the university, and those teachers were only delivering the content, and the edtech companies were giving only the technical support. But recently, we have seen that there's a circular from UGC that 40% of the courses can be done through the edtech companies, because in this process, the edtech company also got wiser, and many of them are also having a very good quality e-content. So I suppose that e-content will go through a sort of a process within UGC where they will be, or I don't know, well, because that is not very clear right now. Either UGC or the university, which will check the quality of the courses, and once that litmus test is passed by these courses, then maybe some percentage of courses from the edtech companies can also be incorporated in the courses which are being run by the universities. The way the Swayam 40% courses are added, similarly in the edtech companies 40% of the courses are can be counted or can be accommodated in the regular degree programs, but only after their quality is tested either by the UGC or by the university. So if both the things happen, then of course online, we know that we want to have a gross enrollment ratio of 50% by 2035. So this will come as a big boost to the Indian higher education system and to the access to higher education which is required. So any questions, if there are there, I am here to answer. Thank you
Sure.
very much.
I think, Dr. Pankaj, you have covered the whole journey of last 3 years for digital content in such a crisp way that it's amazing. And it also like shows how much that has IT got, or digital content got penetrated in the whole university ecosystem. So let me request our expert, Dallas Krishnan, who is MD of Enterprise Coursera, to give your views on these topics, and pose any questions for Dr. Pankaj Mittal to answer, because she is a policy maker and one of the big influencers in this ecosystem. That is.
Thank you, Ravi, and very similar to what Dr. Mittal said. It's a privilege to be on your platform, and always wonderful to speak with you. So thank you for inviting me. And Dr. Mittal, thanks for sharing your perspectives. And as Ravi mentioned, you actually have spoken through the history of entire evolution of our education in the last 7-8 minutes that you spoke about. Very contextual points
Thank
that
you.
you made. So maybe I'll just start with a couple of points that I would like to bring. And first and foremost, Ravi, I don't want to call myself an expert. I think the experts are actually sitting in right next to you on our screen. That's Dr. Mittal, and then the policymakers. Right? I would see ourselves as an extension of the ecosystem. We don't see ourselves as educators. I don't think we can play the role of educators. The educators is where people who are trained for that, people who have invested their careers in that, and I believe that ecosystem has to be sustained, because education is not just about getting a course and putting it out on a digital medium, right? There is a lot more to it. And I'll probably begin in the context of the World Education Forum Summit. I know we are probably and hopefully, fingers crossed, at the end of the pandemic. But for me personally, and I've seen my son who finished his class 12th at the beginning of the pandemic and finished 2 years of his curriculum in higher education in an online way. And to the point Dr. Mithil mentioned, it required a huge flipping in the context of our teachers, our university staff across the board in our education sector. It was a massive pivot. And towards that, I really would like to compliment every single teacher who's out here, because it was their effort, not just in terms of delivering what they know well every day, but also relearning, unlearning, and then delivering it in the way that the students can absorb. And then ensuring that for the last 2 years, we didn't lose a single semester, right? Every single academic year. In the initial phase, we were delayed, but whenever there was a height of the pandemic, but we caught up, and as an education system, we moved ahead. So my compliments to the policymakers, my compliments to all the teachers out here. Right? So I would like to just put a few perspectives in the context of jobs. Right? I know there is one part of education is to build the citizen, is to create increase the overall gross enrollment ratio. The other part is preparing those students for the jobs of the future, because that's an emerging area, because that's where the citizens contribute to the economy and then makes the country much stronger than where we are today. Right? We want to move forward with growth. In that context, I wanted to just put a few perspectives. Right? One, and this is something that we noticed, is that during the pandemic, what happened on the future on the job side was that there were many jobs which started getting delivered through homes. Right? For example, today we are probably running this conference in a digital medium. In the old world, we would have probably met together at a hotel and done that, and that's got blended into our way of working today. We accept the fact that this is an accepted mechanism of working in this particular form. Very similarly, there are many jobs that have actually emerged and have started creating an opportunity for remote work. Now, why is that important to us? It's important because suddenly there are many high quality, high skill jobs and high paying jobs that can be done from any part of the world. Right? And we, being a country of as the Prime Minister always says, 120 crore people that we have, a billion and more people, and that too with the huge demographic dividend of young population, that becomes a very powerful source for the world in the context of global jobs. Because today, many high-paying jobs may not be done from where that job actually gets delivered. It can be done from anywhere in the world. So remote work is actually going to increase globalization of jobs across the world. At Coursera, for example, we have a remote work policy. We are about 200 odd people in India, and they are sitting out of 24 cities across the country. Right? While we have an office in Delhi, but our people work from anywhere in the country, and there is no insistence that people come to a particular location. What that will do is that high quality, high paying jobs will move towards remote work. But in order to do that, what is also doing is that there are a lot of digital skills that are getting imparted, right? So that's one part of the jobs where a lot of jobs will emerge in the global world, which will become an opportunity in the context of emerging remote working. The second is the context of technology, right? Where how technology is getting embedded across the board, right? Education itself, we have seen how technology got embedded in our own education, sector. But you think of a car, it's a mechanical product in the ages of when I studied, engineering. And by the way, when I did agriculture engineering, studied tractors and IC engines. Uh, so, so to me, it was just a mechanical part. When I studied the tractor, there was absolutely no electronic part, no computer chip in it. Right? It just had a beautiful four wheels of different sizes, which made mobility wonderful in the context of what work it needs to do, an extremely powerful engine. And it had a lot of mechanical parts that enabled farming to be done. But you fast forward today, take a car or take a tractor, to the sheer number of digital instruments that sit on there is amazing. It's actually a culmination of mechanical engineering and electrical engineering and computer science coming together in a product. Look forward, we talk about driverless cars, where things like computer vision will get integrated um, into a machine, right? So that's one area where we are seeing, as technology gets embedded in various sectors, there is a need back in the education system to have interdisciplinary learning. And Dr. Mithil, you spoke about the NEP, and I know one of the core principles of NEP is this interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary learning. There is a lot of encouragement for people in one stream to pick up other stream learning, right? And I feel that's a very, very, very important aspect in the context of a mechanical engineer learning computer science or data, an electrical engineer picking up computer science learning. And I'll give you a very different. A computer engineer today needs to also understand sociology and political science because technology has started to impact geopolitical areas, social areas, right?
So,
So,
Dallas, may I like just interrupt in the interest of time because like Mittal has limited time. So, let me ask her that in the context of the new jobs which are being created in this digital environment because of COVID disruption, how are you like seeing this changing nature of education, especially the higher education? You already have talked about digital adoption in education. But in this, in the context of what Dallas I just mentioned about encouraging the remote work and new skills are getting embedded. So, what is the vision emerging? What you are seeing the higher education landscape of India? If you can explain about it.
Dr. Ravi, you know that employability is a very big issue in the Indian market. I mean, we are not worried about unemployment that much as unemployability, that our students are unemployable. So, therefore, keeping that in view, the National Education Policy did recommend that learning by doing is very, very important. Therefore, for every program, right now it is only for say engineering and law subjects, but for every program in every semester there should be an internship opportunity for the student so that they learn by doing. So one is that having an internship opportunity, for which I suppose every university has to make a sort of internship bank in which there are internship opportunities for every student every semester, whether it is a student of say Hindi, English, Sanskrit, management, engineering, law, anybody. And second thing is these new skills like AI or data science or AR, VR, robotics, cryptocurrency, in all these areas where we feel that the jobs, I mean, these are the future jobs for 2030, and the students should be knowing these jobs because whatever they are studying right now in most of the universities, I don't say all, but in most of the universities that will become very obsolete, and all those jobs will be mechanized or automated and they will have to do something else. So therefore it is very important that the curriculum is contemporary, it is updated in keeping in view the future of the jobs or the future jobs which are going to take place. Therefore all the higher education institutions are working in this direction. AICT is working in this direction, and they have brought out many, many programs in which the curriculum is changed. Also, they are talking about special courses on AI, special courses on data science, special courses on big data analysis, or cryptocurrency, or drones. So these type of courses are happening in addition to the regular programs so that the students become employable. So the country, the higher education system, the UGC, the government is seized of the matter that employability is a big issue, and both are the reasons. One is the future technologies are going to be quite different, and second, hands-on experience is not there with the students. So they are only having the theoretical knowledge but not the hands-on experience. So keeping both in view, the government is working on internship banks and embedding the latest technologies in the curriculum.
Sure. Dallas, you wish to raise any questions for Dr. Mittal, if you can like, directly ask her.
no, so I would love to. I know the context of digital university just got announced, but ma'am, if you can just give a little bit more around the vision behind the digital university and
See,
what are the key.
because the digital university is announced in the budget, we were not knowing about it. So I suppose the UGC will be making guidelines for the digital universities and what all will be done by this digital university. As far as I can guess, it will be a place where which can be giving a degree to the students who are doing credits from multiple universities, means promoting flexible way of learning where the students can learn any subject. I mean, they are not bound by the boundaries like physics student can do only these 3 4 subjects, or the humanities students can do only these 3 4 subjects. So any student can do any course from any university, and also translate those courses or those credits into a degree. So I think digital university will be a big boon for that type of a student. And also, in my opinion, digital university will also set the parameters for like what the, or maybe they'll be doing the capacity building of the other universities in terms of online education. But till the guidelines come, these are only the guess games. I cannot say what will be there in the digital university.
Sure.
I mean, one probable aspect, and this I'm coming in because of my background in technology, is that anything when you digitize, it allows for non-linear scale, right? And in a country like ours, where our gross enrollment ratios are in the late 20%, and we have a goal to take it to 50%, I think to me it's a very remarkable vision, because digitization, the first thing that it does is it brings scale, right? And reach and affordability. So if we were to think of three tenets that would be required for us to expand our gross enrollment ratio, it would be the use of technology in the context of expanding the reach, in the context of making it affordable, right, and in the context of delivering high quality education
So
without.
the quality is very, very important, because if we keep on increasing the reach by using the technology, having hundreds or thousands of students in a particular course, but the quality, if it is lost, that will further aggravate the problem of unemployability. So
I,
therefore, quality has to be taken into account while we are expanding. Affordable is okay, access is okay, but quality is the most important thing.
Absolutely. Ravi, maybe just one input, right? We just released a report last week called the Campus Skills Report. So this was based on campuses across the world, who actually, there are about 4,000 campuses in the world who leverage Coursera for teaching in a blended way in their various curriculums, out of which India has about 1.7 million learners today, right? And I just wanted to put a few points. The top three jobs, because of the leverage of technology, tend to be software engineering, data science, data analysts, right? So these are the top three jobs that we saw. But what is even more heartening is that 40% of the learners on the platform are actually women. So there is a dimension of inclusion that technology brings in, right? In a country like ours, where education can reach for deeper into the ecosystem without having to worry about sending children in multiple cities all over the country, your ability to take high quality education to the doorstep of a village would be a huge enabler in inclusion, right? So, and this, by the way, year on year was a increase of close to 28%. The number of women learners is the one which is growing faster than the number of men learners. So I feel, again, this is just an indicator on a small platform like ours. But in a country like ours, if you were to build a digital university, I think I can only imagine the impact that it will have on women learners.
See, women will go ahead whatever you do. I mean, they will be going ahead even in the gross enrollment ratio. For years together we were cribbing for 2% gender gap, that women gross enrollment ratio was 2% less than the men gross enrollment ratio. But for last 2 years, last time it was 0.1% higher, this time it is 0.2% higher than the men gross enrollment ratio. The women gross enrollment ratio is increasing in the country, increasing more than the men gross. It has already overtaken the GER of men, and in future maybe there's a 2% gender gap between men and women rather than between women and men. So that women are going to lead in every sector, and especially in India. Even if you see the number of women students enrolled in ET, engineering technology, or IT, the number is much higher than even in developed countries like US, Europe, and all. And that this difference is also very, very significant. So in India, women are moving forward, and I don't think anybody can stop them, and nobody should stop them.
Nope, yeah, and I think it will be for the betterment of the country as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, lastly, Pankaj, asking you that a lot of water has flown in the digital river in the last 3 years. So, how are you seeing the next 3 years of higher education transformation in India, digital or non-digital overall?
Obviously digital. I mean, when the pandemic stopped and everybody was moving to digital, little did they realize that after pandemic digital is going to stay. It will not go away. So although it will not be the only thing which will stay, it will be a blended mode of learning, digital plus physical. Now people are calling it physical plus digital, phygital. So that will be there, and technology will obviously ease out many things. It will make the teachers more say friendly with the system, and they'll be able to say even assess and evaluate the students in a better manner using the technological platform. They'll be able to teach in a better manner using the technology. They'll be able to leverage the open education resources which are already lying at so many places, including in the platforms like Coursera or edX or Swayam. So the digital is going to, I mean, I think after 10 years, we'll be seeing a different type of education. Maybe in addition to the universities in the campuses, there'll be universities in the cloud. In addition to the teachers in the classroom, there'll be teachers in the cloud teaching the students. So I mean, there'll be a total transformation of the higher education space.
Great. So, concluding remarks of Dallas, over to you. Like you can briefly conclude.
Yeah, and I love that sentence that Dr. Pankaj ma'am said, the teachers in the cloud. They send children to the cloud in the context of their aspirations. So I'd love to see that, expanding that network. But two concluding remarks and from my end, Ravi, would be, I guess the ecosystem of teachers and technology is going to will actually bring a lot more power to the ability to increase the cross enrollment ratios in the country. So the teaching ecosystem and infrastructure that we have can be multiplied in its impact by the ability to bring technology there. The role of edtechs and as a role, as a player in that industry would be to complement that infrastructure and the investments that exist in this country versus replacing that. So that's the key message that I would probably want to leave, where the complementarity of our education infrastructure with the technology platforms should lead to better outcomes in the gross enrollment ratio and in the impact on learners in the context of their aspirations.
Fantastic. So, Pankaj, just to ask you the last question, actually, this is the last one. Actually, the last one. We have spoken enough about digital. What are the major non-digital policy or overall reforms you are seeing in higher education coming in next 3 years? Like, if you can
See,
just share.
foremost is multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, multiple entry and multiple exit. So many reforms are there in the national education policy, which we had not thought of earlier. Digital is only one aspect of it.
Yes.
Apart from that, like 4-year graduate program, 1-year master's program, PhD, internships, internationalization of higher education, which was not given so much of importance till date. But in this policy, I think this is the first policy which has given so much of importance to internationalization, with foreign campuses on Indian soil and Indian universities on Indian universities in foreign countries. So I think there are too many reforms in this. The only onus lies on is the universities to implement the policy in letter and spirit. And I'm sure that the Vishwa Guru, which we used to say that India was a Vishwa Guru once upon a time, and Nalanda was there. And at that point, 10,000 foreign students were studying in Nalanda from all over the world. So today it is only 46,000 from all over the world, that too only from the neighboring countries. So India will once again become a Vishwa Guru if this policy is implemented in letter and spirit.
Fantastic. So, thank you so much, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, for joining us. And on behalf of World Education Summit, I sincerely thank you for giving us time for this amazing discussion we had with Dallas. Thank you for joining. And with this, we will conclude the session. Namaskar to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good to meet you as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.